Take a look around you. Everything you know, everything you've been taught to believe about our past feels solid, right? The grand cathedrals, the ancient empires, the dusty history books that track our progress over thousands of years. But what if I told you that the foundation of your reality is a carefully constructed lie? What if I told you that humanity, as a conscious and empathetic species, did not exist before the mid-19th century? It sounds insane. It sounds like a glitch in the Matrix. But when you look at the raw data, when you peel back the layers of the approved narrative, the math simply doesn't add up. We are living inside a global script, a massive project designed to hide one terrifying truth. Before 1875, the world's memory was deleted. Think about the experts you see on the news, the geostrategists, the political scientists, the gurus with advanced degrees who claim to predict the future. Have you noticed how they are almost always wrong? Their models crumble the moment they touch reality. Why? Because you cannot predict the future of a building if you are looking at fake blueprints. They are analyzing a fictional past. They study historical fables and approved fairy tales, and then they wonder why the world feels like it's spinning out of control. The truth is, geopolitics doesn't follow the rules of history books. It follows a plan that was launched not thousands of years ago, but just a few generations back. If you base your life on distorted data, your conclusions will always be distorted. To see the true picture, we must cast aside illusions and turn to real facts, no matter how incredible they seem. Official science claims Homo sapiens has been here for millennia. But if we discard the stories about vanished ancient civilizations and look at our specific species, a shocking truth is revealed. Our species, which could be called Homo GMO, an artificially created social species, appeared on Earth only a few hundred years ago. All real history confirms that humanity as a social phenomenon has a very short biography. Understanding this fact provides the key to unraveling every modern event, from the chemical food on your store shelves to the systematic destruction of education. We are new here. We are a product. And the first chapter of this product's manual is what they call creation. But I'm not talking about a religious miracle. I'm talking about a chronological shift. The most staggering proof of our youth isn't found in a hole in the ground. It's found in our psychology. Look at the fundamental concepts of compassion, humanism, and love. We assume these are eternal human traits, but real documents paint a different, frightening picture. These default settings were activated in humanity only in the second half of the 19th century. Think about a simple yet staggering fact. The world's first society for the prevention of cruelty to children appeared only in 1875. Before this date, humanity for some reason did not think about the systemic protection of its own offspring. In many countries, societies for the protection of animals arose earlier than organizations designed to protect children. This is a logical impossibility if we are truly an ancient race, unless the software, morality, ethics, and empathy had not yet been installed. Until the end of the 19th century, we were raw material. The architects of this project were patient. They didn't just need a physical body, they needed a controlled mind. They needed to upload identical ideas into the heads of millions of people in the shortest possible time. How do you synchronize the reality of millions without the internet? You build cities of cognition. We call them world's fairs. Official history says they were just trade shows. Lies. These were programming stations. Between the mid-1800s and the early 1900s, tens of millions of people were funneled into these massive, temporary cities. They were shown globes to define the shape of their world. They were shown flags to define their loyalty.
They were shown chronology to define their past. These fairs were the system reset button for the human mind. People walked in with disjointed thoughts and walked out with a unified database. Once the database was set, the architects didn't need the fairs anymore. They demolished them. Massive marble palaces built in months, destroyed in days. Why? Because the software was already uploaded. And then came cinema, the perfect tool for real-time correction. Through the screen, it was possible to synchronize the consciousness of billions simultaneously. Cinema allowed not just showing the structure of the world, but also modeling behavior, dictating fashion, and forming images of enemies and friends. By the mid-20th century, the cognition chapter was complete. The world's memory was officially replaced with a replacement narrative. But why build us and program us? Because they needed creators. This leads us to the third chapter, the sorting. The 20th century was about extraction. They created a global education system designed to act as a great sieve. Why were you forced to learn mathematical analysis or organic chemistry when you would never need it in real life? Because for 90% of children, this was torture, but for the system, it was a resonance test. They were looking for the 10% whose eyes lit up at the sight of formulas. These were the geniuses who could build nuclear reactors, semiconductors, and space rockets. They squeezed the maximum out of human material to obtain the necessary knowledge for the complete restructuring of the world. And now we come to the turning point. By the end of the 20th century, the sorting was complete. The knowledge base is now complete. New Einsteins are no longer required on an industrial scale. The technologies for paradise already exist, but no one is building it. Instead, the great sieve is being dismantled. We have entered the final chapter, the culling. Now, the goal is not to find the best, but the silent disposal of the surplus. We are living in a global survival test. The rules of the game have flipped 180 degrees. In the last century, they wanted you to be smart. Now, they want you to be a genetic dead end. The culling is implemented through absolute, intoxicating freedom of choice. This is a silent war of temptations. You're offered a menu of surrogates. You can choose natural products or chemical food that slowly destroys you. You can choose to develop your spirit or immerse yourself in the stupor of vapes and digital content. But the most effective filter is installed at the biological level. The child-free propaganda, the blurring of family concepts, and the ubiquitous rainbow agenda are instruments of soft sterilization. No one is destroyed forcibly. The weak, those incapable of critical thinking, voluntarily choose surrogate values, thereby freeing up living space. Only the frost-resistant seeds will remain. The biblical project is reaching its climax. It is an evolutionary filter tuned to new conditions. The future belongs to those who shout loudest about their rights, but to those who are capable of continuing their lineage. Your ancestors didn't exist before 1875 because the system rebooted then. But another reboot is coming. The question is, will you be part of the new data set, or will you be deleted along with the old one? The choice isn't made in a voting booth. It's made in your kitchen, in your bedroom, and in your mind. Every time you choose truth over comfort, you are fighting the culling. They want you to believe that you are an accident of evolution, but you are a creation that was never meant to find out the truth. But now you know. The memory wasn't lost, it was stolen. The world you see on your screen is a distraction from the world being built behind it. The Great Reset isn't in the future. It happened in 1875, And it's happening again, right now. The architects are watching. The filter is active. Are you ready to remember? Or will you remain another forgotten entry in the deleted history of humanity?